This is a significant development on the Chennai Kalakshetra sexual harassment case. The Madras High Court today said that it will reconstitute the Internal Complaints Committee of the Kalakshetra Foundation to probe the allegations of sexual harassment on campus made by its students, adding that such reconstitution was imperative to protect the interests of the students as well as the foundation. The court also granted the interim prayer of 7 petitioner students of Kalakshetra to remain anonymous. The students had approached the High Court seeking a safe learning environment on campus amidst complaints of sexual abuse by a senior faculty member. Let's put out the entire timeline for you in terms of graphics. Let's tell you what exactly happened. Things actually took an ugly turn when an ex-director of Kalakshetra wrote about a teacher from Rukmini Devi College of Fine Arts, accusing him of harassing, molesting and sexually abusing students for over a decade. This became the trigger for several harassed and humiliated students of Chennai's premier cultural academy to come out with their complaints, and the matter snowballed into a major campus protest last month. Madras High Court today, hearing the plea of the students seeking a safe learning space and seeking a robust redressal mechanism, said that the Kalakshetra administration needs a rejig, particularly the Internal Complaints Committee. Also questioning its failure to address concerns of harassment, it has declined the foundation's request not to conceal names of complainants, saying that what is important is the nature of complaints and not the identity of the complainants. So that's the broader story here on the Kalakshetra controversy. What we are going to do now is go across 2 experts joining us here on the program to help us understand at this point of time what this would mean, the reconstitution of ICC, the rejig in the Kalakshetra administration. Let me welcome Prathibha Prahlad, renowned artist, with us here on the program. Also Dr. Charu Wali Khanna, former member of NCW and senior advocate. Very good evening, ladies. Thank you so much for joining me here on Mirror Now. Prathibha ji, I want to begin with you because the issue that is exposed today is the ICC, the Internal Complaints Committee's abject failure to help out students with the complaints that they came up with time and again. The rot has been running deep for a very long time. ICC chose to turn a blind eye, and something like this goes on for years with students getting no relief whatsoever until an entire protest is galvanized. What is your take on the foundation of the Kalakshetra Foundation in Chennai, ma'am?
I can't hear you very clearly, Afrida, but I get the gist of what you're asking me. Yes. So I'm just going to respond with what I think is right. I believe this problem has been on since 2008, and successive directors have not addressed this issue. And what happened right now was the culmination of a problem that has been going on for years and years and years. What happens in an institution must be the responsibility of the administration of that institution, and they must always have a sensitive ear to the students' problems. Now, if you do not hear what girl students or boy students are telling you, what they're trying to tell you, or their pain or their discomfort with any situation, then the administration has failed in its duty. And this is the position I've taken from day one, because Kalakshetra is a premier cultural institution of our country, and it's the responsibility of each and every one of us to invest in culture and to protect the name, the glory, the fame and the high standards that Kalakshetra adheres to. I'm really happy that these students went to the court today and that they got the ICC reconstituted. I believe the court has said that on April 24th they're going to revisit this problem and have the Internal Complaints Committee reconstituted. I have said from day one that the director, Revati Ramachandran, should not head this committee because the children have lost faith in her. They have lost trust in her. And so there's no point in having somebody heading a committee where, where there is no trust. So the children have asked for, these youngsters who have gone to court, I believe have asked for reconstitution of the ICC. They have said that they want an external person who has some sort of credibility to head the ICC. Yes. And they also want student representation in the ICC, and they wanted parent representation in the ICC. And I think parent representation and student representation is very, very valid as a request, because that will ensure that these kinds of incidents don't happen in future in this institution. In a Guru Shishya kind of a paradigm, there is a power imbalance, and the children who go there to learn an art form.
Yes.
So there are all kinds of politics in that place, and one of those politics is also sexual politics. So to protect oneself from these politics, from various kinds of politics, as also sex politics, one has to ensure that compliances are met and that internal complaints committee is held to the highest standard.
Right.
You know, and
absolutely,
that they
which is
the
why
problems
we
of
have
the
been
students
focusing
with
on this
immediacy
issue,
and with
Prathibha ji,
concern.
as you also have joined us on a number of occasions, and what you're saying about how the foundation has faltered in
Yes.
providing a safe learning environment is really tragic for an institution of high learning, for a cultural institution like Kalakshetra. I want to ask you also what it means for those who are pursuing arts. It's not a mainstream curriculum. It is something that students pursue out of passion. So when this institute gets that kind of a reputation, it is going to affect the whole culture of learning arts and culture in this country. I'll come to you on that point, but I want to bring in Dr. Khanna also. Dr. Khanna, it's a failure at multiple levels.
But that's a very important point.
Yes, I'll come back to you. Failure at multiple levels, which we are pointing out. At every step, there is an attempt to cover up. And what I want to ask you here is that I'm afraid NCW has simply only acted as a government's arm here. It has not acted in the interests of the students. In fact, it has allowed itself to get arm twisted by the Kalakshetra Foundation.
See, there is a failure. I wouldn't say it's at multiple levels. The failure is on the part of the administration. The ICC is a part of the administration, and it's for the director to ensure that the students have a safe space. Like Prathibha ji just now said, when students pursue the fine arts, whether it's fashion, fine arts, which are not such popular streams, it's with great difficulty that they're able to convince the parents to send them there. So all the more the burden of responsibility on the administration is to ensure that they have a safe space. Now, like she said, that this matter has been going up, such incidents have been occurring since 2008. This is not the only institution, whether it's the workplace or a educational institution, women have been sexually harassed. That's why in 2013, the POSH Act was specifically legislated for this purpose to provide a safe work environment to women, which included educational institutes, stadia, and also women who are on work, outside the workplace on work, whether they're on tours or other things. Now, what is most astonishing is that why is the administration trying to protect the perpetrators of this offense? And it's not something unusual. That's why in the Act, because it's very well known that always, whether it's the employer or the director of an institute, they'll try to protect people because they're normally people in authority.
My question to you is, Charu Wali Khanna, why didn't NCW really, do the needful and act in the right earnest? What NCW did was put out a tweet saying matter is closed. NCW, in fact, tweeted that the complaint had been closed on the basis of investigation by ICC. ICC simply did not do any investigation. No wonder the Madras High Court says that this is a defunct, committee. It needs to go and we need to reconstitute it. That was what I wanted to know. The functioning of NCW in all of this.
I think the role of NCW by just giving this tweet is not, I would say that they have failed in their duty to protect women, because the National Commission for Women is to raise women's issues. Yes, by sending someone over there to Kalakshetra to inquire about the matter, and they have raised the issue to a different level, to a national level. But that was not sufficient. They should have gone further, and they should have actually tried to inquire and indict someone or give a specific recommendation.
Because, it is a power equation, as Prathibha ji was saying. And the Kalakshetra Foundation has done everything on its part to ensure that things don't go out of hand. Prathibha ji, I wanted to ask you that question as well, that what does it mean for perpetuating arts in this country when institutes of high learning, a center of excellence like Kalakshetra, go through this kind of a fall from grace, I should say? Yes, go ahead.
So again, I can't hear you very well, so I'm just going to say what I have to say. The question you asked earlier about arts
Yes.
and culture,
Yes.
the propagation of arts and culture in this country. I believe that it's safe. I believe that there are thousands and thousands of youngsters who are learning dance, music, and instrumental music, theatre, and they're involving themselves in these art forms. And so therefore the propagation, the promotion of arts and culture is fine. Nothing is wrong with that. A premier institution like Kalakshetra, when something like this happens, there is huge concern, and we're all very disturbed by what has happened, because it is not fair that this kind of an institution falls into disrepute.
Yes.
So I don't think one incident should make Kalakshetra, the institution, disreputable. I think Kalakshetra is fine, everything is fine. This is a failure on part of the administration. I'm happy the Honorable Court has given a rap on whatever, how the administration handled it. And I have tweeted again and again that the director, Srimati Revati Ramachandran, should own moral responsibility and she should resign.
Okay.
But I don't know why that has not happened. I don't know why the General Council has not resigned. I don't know why the Executive Board has not resigned. If, my advice to all of them is to save the institution at the cost of their own personal agendas, at the cost of their own, little careers in the field, and save Kalakshetra, but please resign.
Yes.
So that people start trusting Kalakshetra again, trusting it enough to be able to send their children to learn this beautiful art form that, encompasses the culture of our country. Because, the dances that we perform are not merely for entertainment. They have a sacred base. And so I think it's vital for all of us, for all children to, learn the arts, because it makes them, more sensitive, it humanizes them. And I think it's important to propagate the culture of this country.
Yes, to protect and preserve culture and heritage. Quick last word to you, Dr. Charu Wali Khanna, that, it has to be made. What Prathibha ji is saying, that we need a clean-up act, and, there must be a complete rejig in the administration. And that will also set a precedence, isn't it? It will send a message out that this kind of rot cannot be allowed to fester in any institution for that matter.
I think the first thing, the director needs to resign, because then only will the message go that a person, she has to be held accountable for her lapses and for trying to protect the offenders. And then only the message will go that women are safe and they don't need to come to the streets or go to the court to, protect themselves.
Yes, it's a long and arduous battle for the students. It has been an uphill task, and we do hope that justice is delivered in the courts. Prathibha Prahlad and Dr. Charu Wali Khanna, thank you so much for joining me this evening.